Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shanna Patterson and today I wanted to do a little wedding update. Our wedding is currently 5.5 months away. We're getting married in summer 2022. So I wanted to do a sit down video and go through a really detailed list and itinerary of all the things that I've planned to date, because I know wedding planning just in general can be very stressful. It's very intimidating. For a lot of us, it's our very first wedding that we planned. Some of us have not even attended other weddings before. There's lots of different variables. Lots of people don't have it in their budget to do full wedding planning coordination services, so a lot of brides and grooms are on their own to plan the whole shindig. Especially with the wedding boom right now, there's a lot of the time people are gonna have to book vendors way in advance of when perhaps you might have had to book them in years gone by. So I'm just gonna go through exactly what I did, the timeline that I used to book everything. This is what's worked for me. I have everything on a big notepad on my computer. I'm a very digital person. Like, I don't like handwritten notes and schedules and calendars. I keep everything in my synced up calendars and notes. Unless it's in my calendar, I will not be there because I will forget about it. So winding it all back, me and my fiance got engaged October 2020. So we went venue shopping pretty much when we first got engaged. I touched on all the venue shopping and all that sort of fun details in a video I posted of touring all the different venues. So I'll link that video and you guys can check that out if you're interested in all the venues that we toured. And we made our final decision to book our venue the end of November 2020 is when we gave our initial deposit to really secure the date. And I feel like that sets a good precedent for all the other little details that you'll need to plan after that for the wedding. And that way you know your date and you have it locked in, so when you're reaching out to vendors, you know what date to ask for to see if they're even available. The next big ticket item that was very important in my wedding budget hierarchy was our photography and videography team. Reached out to a lot of different vendors, found someone that worked within our budget. I loved their style. They have a videography team and a photography team, so it's one company, but they have 4 different people that are going to be there. You have first and second shooter for both photography and videography. Our venue was charging $1,000 if you brought in an outside caterer, not on their preferred vendors list, but if you used a caterer from their preferred vendors list, then the landing fee was only half that. Given the nature of the venue, a lot of the things have to be brought in, so we have to hire out our caterer, our bartender, but sometimes you get venues where that's all encompassing, and so when you book the venue, the caterer and the bartender already comes with the package. So we ended up going with a preferred vendor caterer that worked within our budget, and we liked their food, and the meal that they gave us was huge. We did a little taste testing in February 2021, and then we booked them, gave her a deposit. I also reached out to a bunch of day of coordinators. Our venue requires a day of coordinator. Knew that I wanted one for our day out so that I wasn't stressing about anything, and they just take care of everything and they set up all the decor. Because most vendors, as they gain more experience, they tend to bump up their prices year over year. So if you're able to reach out to them really early and lock them in at their older price, you're sort of getting a little bit of a better deal than if you waited to book them. So I reached out to a bunch of florists, got all my quotes together. Florals cost a lot of money. We were able to find somebody who was recommended by our venue and had worked with them previously, who was able to obtain the look that we wanted. We had consultations with a couple other vendors. Some vendors were just astronomical on pricing, so it really pays to shop around. We're able to find someone who worked within our budget and was able to provide the look that we were going for. And if your florist is good, they can suggest items for you. Say if you want a very particular flower and that flower is very expensive for the florist to get in, they can suggest something that gives a very similar look but is less expensive for them to source. I also reached out to a bunch of different DJs and we booked our DJ vendor. So that was the main vendors that I really wanted to book in, some solid vendors, and get those done and out of the way. I like being informed in my decisions, so I like reaching out to lots of people and making sure that I'm making an informed decision when I'm booking somebody. We ended up booking the florist in April or May 2021. From January through to the spring, I sourced out decor for the tables for our wedding. So we have lots of candles and the chargers and the runners and all that kind of stuff. That spring is when I started making my DIY projects. So I knew I will get very overwhelmed if I have a zillion things in my brain that need to be accomplished and I don't have them written down and sort of spread out in a realistic schedule. I like to take all my task lists and really break them out month by month of what I can accomplish. So it doesn't really mean that I'm accomplishing them in a hierarchy of what needs to be done because I pretty much have a lot of my main vendors already booked at that point. So now I'm gonna go through the notes that I have of just breaking down every single thing that I did, just if you're curious, I guess. So starting in May 2021, I began creating my welcome signs. So I had to solicit the help of my brother and my fiance, and we purchased the materials that we needed to make the welcome sign and got everything cut to how we wanted. I ended up getting my shoes that I'm gonna be wearing for my wedding dress before I bought my wedding dress, but they were a really good deal. So I got my shoes in May 2021, gathered my thoughts together on what I wanted to do for the guest book and sourced it out. I'm borrowing something from another friend to do for the guest book, so got that taken care of. I also started getting together stuff for the bridesmaid proposal boxes that I made. And hopping to June, that's when I started making reserved signs. So I made these little white signs that I'm gonna hang on the back of the chairs just to reserve the front aisle for our immediate family. I made these little directional signs too that are gonna go up in our venue, very rural venue. So I want people to be able to see like where to turn in on the side roads. That's when I also booked our engagement photo shoot. Package that we had secured with our photography vendor included an engagement shoot. So I wanted to get them done in the summertime. That was one thing that my fiance requested. He just wanted to be not cold for the photos. So we decided to do them in the summer. We ended up going to Banff, Alberta in the Rocky Mountains, and we got a photographer there and ended up doing an engagement session there for our engagement photos. So we worked something else out with our photographer vendor for our wedding instead. But initially the plan was that I had booked them then. In June is also when I sourced out my card box and decided what I wanted to do for that. We have this grassy area in front of where the dinner will be held. So during like cocktail hour and stuff, people can play little games. So I made these little cute little cornhole boards. I have a TikTok up on my TikTok account if you want to check that out of how I made that. I actually used the cornhole boards for our engagement party as well. We did it outside in a backyard just to be socially distance friendly. Where I live went into a lot of lockdowns, so a lot of the appointments that I had made kept getting canceled and pushed out. So I started looking for my wedding dress around probably beginning of May, and I would just space them out every couple of weeks. I just didn't want to get overwhelmed with trying to make a decision. I visited a couple shops like every few weeks from May through July, and then in July, I believe it was around the middle of July, I bought my wedding dress, and then I also got some decor for our ceremony altar, and I started picking out our getting ready outfits for me and my bridesmaids for the day of. So I got them like little cute little things for getting ready. So I was scouring the Facebook marketplace, getting lots of different elements from resellers, past brides, and I made my cards and gift sign as well as food station sign that we're having. We were also going to do some floral things on the cocktail tables for our cocktail hour, so I started collecting things to make those. Honestly, like I just like breaking things down because it really helps me to not get overwhelmed. It makes it fun. I love making things and I like DIYing things and doing all the little DIY and making signages. Not to sound corny, but that brings me joy. I like to do that in my free time and I find it very therapeutic, and that's just what I like to do. Some people like to watch movies on Netflix. I like to make things. Having everything spaced out just makes it so it's not a chore. It makes it so it's fun for me. That's just a little deep dive into the way my brain works. At the very end of August, beginning of September, that's when we actually did our engagement shoot in Banff, Alberta, because I knew I wanted to use the photos for a save the dates. So I had those already designed and ready to go over the summer, and then I placed my order come September. A lot of these things are sort of a work in progress in my brain for many months beforehand, but the time when I actually have to commit and like place the order and get it done is check it off the list, date. So in September, I placed the order for the save the dates. I also placed the order for my wedding invitations. I was getting them from an American site. The shipping is expensive to get it up to Canada, but if I placed the order all at once, I only had to pay the shipping once. So I just designed the save the dates and my wedding invitations all at the same time. And then I was also reaching out to a bunch of different accommodations surrounding my venue of where people could stay if they chose to stay overnight. So I actually booked the hotel room block in September. Because my venue is rural, there wasn't an accommodation very close by. What we're thinking of doing is providing transportation for guests who are staying overnight at the hotel to be able to hop on a little shuttle bus and get them to the venue, and then at the end of the night take them back to the accommodations. A lot of the hotels just so happen in that area also double as wedding venues. So a lot of them actually wouldn't let me do hotel room blocks at their hotels because the weddings that are taking place at those hotels had priority. It's a good thing to look into if you're getting married in an area that doesn't necessarily have a lot of hotels around it. For ceremony, like the little petal toss, so I ended up finding dried lavender on Facebook Marketplace. Then in October, I started making my wedding hashtag sign, and then I also was looking at booking my officiant, and then actually sourced out our guest book album that people like sign. For our table numbers, I wanted to do this little pressed greenery moment in these little cute gold frames that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. So I was collecting greenery to put into those. Then in November, I made my guest book sign. I got my veil for my wedding dress. And then I made this cute little jacket with little pearls on it for our wedding. I'm probably gonna wear it at the bachelorette as well. And then that's also when my fiance sourced out his wedding band. In December, I didn't do too much just because everyone's really busy with the holiday season. So I knew I wanted to go easy on that month. Made a decor item for our ceremony space. Asked our florist to make a small change to our wedding quote. I wanted to add in a floral arrangement to go on one of our signages. I had booked it so far in advance and that was my vision at that point. But as the months go on, I sort of just had a couple extra tweaks to make into January 2022. So we're bringing it up to this year. So January, I took the lavender that I had gathered from Facebook Marketplace a couple months before, got these little envelopes off AliExpress. I have a TikTok video up on my account of how I made that. My bridesmaids went and purchased their dresses. I already knew what I wanted my bridesmaids to be in before we even got engaged, but I had just been collecting samples from different websites just to see like who had the best fabric, what place had like the exact color that I was going for. The years leading up to that, I had already been in talks with my bridesmaids of what we wanted and what we were going for. January was when we like physically purchased the dresses. I started ordering some decor items for my bachelorette party. My maid of honor and bridesmaid are planning that, but I want to help out with some like little cutesy decor items. My engagement ring was custom made by my fiance, so it has a very unique profile to it. So I wasn't able to find really anything when I was going to just a standard jewelry shop to have like an in-stock wedding band. I wanted something that would really fit snugly with it. So we're really leaning towards just getting the same jeweler who made the engagement ring to also make the wedding band as well. Me and my mom spent one night flattening out all the greenery and pressing them into the table number frames, and then I added the vinyl numbers to the table number frames. I also booked my makeup trial, and I got a cake stand from HomeSense for our wedding cake. My mom is the one preparing the little take-home bonbonniere presents for our wedding. I'm working with her to decide on like little sticker labels that we want to put on them, like a tag or a label or a sticker or something. So currently in the process of designing those, and I'm going to be placing the order probably in the next couple of days. So also for the save the dates, I did these cute little wax seals in the back. I'm going to be doing something similar for our wedding invitations, so I ordered some more wax sticks. I packaged up those little lavender toss kits, and then I got some paper elements that I needed to make the wedding invitations. Have them made, but there's little details that I want to put on them. I started making my wedding day emergency kit. They include tape, safety pins, tied to go sticks if you're not getting ready at your own house, to have all these things on hand just in case. So I got a little bin from the dollar store and I've been compiling some little emergency day items. I also booked my bridal hair trial, so I'm getting that done in the late spring, early summer before our wedding. And then I also applied for our marriage license and booked the marriage license appointment to actually go to City Hall and have them do the license up for you. And I know this video is already gonna be really long, so I figured I'm just gonna end it here. I'll have to do another video talking about the things that I've done from the 5.5 mark up until our wedding date. So I might do that after our wedding. A lot of little details go into wedding planning. Hopefully this video was helpful for some of you guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so that you can see more wedding updates in the future. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.